Ladies and gentlemen, Neo here for Back to Warcraft, sitting right next to Mark Förster. The miracle of Gamescom. I ended the cast with the Cinderella story is fulfilled. Describe that emotional roller coaster between getting raped by a hail of anger in Berlin, then coming to Gamescom as a caster, and now you got the ticket to China.
It's kind of crazy, to be honest. We have been in Berlin all together, and you know how I felt. I was like really upset after losing the game to Hail of Anger, because I felt like I have pretty good chances winning against him, even though I really wanted him to go forward, just as well as like me, for example. But still, it felt like so horrible, because I was like practicing, like before that I was practicing a lot actually to get in shape and stuff like that. But right now, after arriving here, I was expected to be a caster, and even this was like still not for sure. This was like due to the fact that you guys gave me the opportunity that I can do that. And yeah, it's completely crazy, to be honest. Like winning these guys, I just told you, like in the morning I woke up and I'm like, okay, I go up against Rudan. He's super strong against human. He destroyed Hawk, and this is his way to this tournament here. And before that, these guys played the days before, and I saw how tough they are and how strong and how much thinking they put into their strategy, and I was, can I keep up with them? And after that I just realized, okay, let's keep it this way. This is 50-50, each map, each series, and take it game by game, and in the end, it worked out for me.
Especially in the game against Rudan, do you think your huge LAN experience made a difference? Because you of course attended the ENC, the WCG, and Rudan, it's his first offline event here.
Yeah, this guy appeared to be as cold as ice, not giving a shit about everything that's happening here. He's like, when do we go back to a hotel? Can we go drink? Can we do this? Can we do that? And he came here with his beach bag with all the stuff from vacation, no hardware, nothing. But I think it kind of struck him today. Like he realized, okay, I'm up on stage. I'm fighting for something here. Before that, everything was kind of like, so like we see how good you are. Like he played against Hail of Anger, let's see how good you are. Can I beat you? Then he played against Warchief. He like raped him twice. And then he was like, okay, I have a good shot here. And then he had to beat me in order to go to the winner bracket. And I think there was a lot of on the line, like, and for that he was starting to be like really shaky, nervous and stuff like that. I remember myself, first EPS game, when you know you play from home and there's 100 euro on the line for each win, I shake like my ass off. It was crazy, like my first EPS game. But today, this is like a home ground for me. I'm here in Germany, or the guys are from Germany. I feel like Gamescom, this is not the first time. I've been here like a couple of times, and you said it, like ENC, WCG final playing against Sky in China. It definitely is a different story playing up there, but I was not as nervous as I would be like when this is my first LAN or first event.
So yesterday you had two pretty tough games against Warchief. Was there still the thinking that you can make it?
Oh, this was pretty tough on me, to be honest. We had this brainstorming session and you guys just joined and you heard a lot of stuff. And Hail of Anger Tim provides so many new informations, like sometimes he brings so much new stuff to the table, and I like to pick out the things that I like about that. So we came up with some stories on some like creep routes, some different tower rushes, and we reminded ourselves, okay, there was this crazy spell tower rush where you build a shop outside of your base, get towers and do this. It was horrible in the end, it was really horrible. You guys saw the match and I think it was like completely awful. And I think due to that fact, I will play different tomorrow for sure. But on the other hand, I want to keep the mystery and I want to keep like Warchief looking out for things, because tomorrow it can be gimmick and cheesy, but it can also be like standard as hell. And he has no idea what to expect from this is. So I think it was a good decision playing like that. But for my confidence level, it was not that great, because in the morning, I just told you, I was a little bit shaky myself. I was like, am I really that confident like I usually like show the people? And I was a little bit shaky inside, but then I found myself and yeah, I was able to beat them.
So you're going to China now, and throughout all the weeks you said, no, I won't practice if I go to China. We're just kidding around. So now that it's real, will you practice for the main event in Yinchuan in December?
I don't know who came up with the idea that I might be practicing with Hawk, for example, like for 2 weeks, just sit together with Hawk and play a lot before the event. And I really like the idea. Like, I don't know who came up with it. I think it was one of the players or you guys. But I think this is a practice schedule that I will go for in the end. Maybe practice with Hail of Anger if he makes it, if there are hundreds in my group. Maybe practice a lot with Hawk, like for 2 or 3 weeks, like I pointed it out. I think something like that. But you cannot expect me to go like 3 or 4 months like hardcore right now. It will not happen because there's no other tournament. like the Back to Warcraft China against Europe. I will take part in that and I will try my best. But I will definitely not go 24/7 and throw everything aside.
Very understandably so. You talked about practicing with Hawk. Of course, the big challenge in China is going to be Yumiko, TH, and Infi. You beat a lot of Chinese humans. You're known as the Chinese human slayer because you beat Sky and Infi, of course. Do you think there's a chance to repeat that, even the slightest?
There always is a chance, even against these guys. Sometimes they are guys that are not a player. I know your opinion about that. Like, you guys are pretty damn sure that non-European or almost non-European can beat them on a regular basis, like best of 5 or something like that. But we talk to the players, and the funny thing about that is all the players like Rudan, Hail of Anger, and Watchief, they are like, it's 50-50. Like, every game, like, we can beat them. It's not that easy. They cannot adapt. Everyone got a different like opinion about that, but from the player perspective, from the European elite, like let's call it elite, what we find here, we all have the same mindset. We think we can beat them, and I definitely think we have a good shot. And my past has shown that if it's a best of 1 round robin or something like that, you can definitely make them a little bit, feel them, just beat them there, and maybe destroy their confidence level a little bit, because it's hometown for them, and they have to show like the best performance because they don't want to lose against underdogs. And I think we come there as underdogs, and this is always a great, like for me, this is the best position. Like today I was like 1-0, like down to Rudan, and I felt like, okay, right now I feel better than ever. Like I really like to be like behind, I like to be the underdog. And this is like, I think a lot of guys like that actually, and I think we have good shots.
Okay, let's talk about the game against Hail of Anger, the deciding one on Turtle Rock. Let me quote you, there's no chance that human can beat undead without an expansion. You pulled it off without an expansion.
Yeah, I pulled it off, but it was like, I don't know. Actually, it wasn't. I had an expansion, to be honest, didn't I?
At the end, at the very end, yeah.
But I got one. So the thing is still proven, I think. It's still like bulletproof. But yeah, on the other side, this is the only strategy that I can think of that has an outcome of like 40% win rate overall. This was like my expectation, my calculation behind that. All the other strategies as Rifleman, for example, on Turtle Rock, or maybe a fast expansion with Defend Footman, absolutely no choices for me, because I knew like Hail of Anger is pretty strong. Fiends on Turtle Rock are amazing. Sometimes he goes for dual Slaughterhouse Destroyers, and this is pretty good because you don't have a Shredder, you don't have the wood, you cannot get the towers you need. And yeah, I took this strat, and I think he could have defeated me in the right moment, but he wasn't realizing that there's the space that he just needed for that. And yeah, right now I told him go dual Slaughterhouse Destroyers and just raid my main base, and I will never have a shot with this strat. And he's like, yeah, that's true, I will do that next time. So for that reason, I think it's not the best strat, but it worked, and I can live with that.
Maybe in the grand final again on Sunday. So if you compare this success to former EPS wins or the qualification for WCG, how would you rate it?
Pretty damn high. Pretty damn high. This is one of the best things that happened to me, like Warcraft-wise, in, I don't know, maybe in my career, because this is like really like from the bottom to the top. I was to be here at Karsta, now I ended up in China. Never had that. It's crazy. Like, it's unique. I can't put it into words. I still can't believe that it's possible to do that. Like, sorry to Foggy that you didn't make it, bro. I really hope you go far in the qualifier. I pointed it out several of times. I hope you can win this. Seriously, make it there. Show yourself. Show your dream, and yeah, try to do your hardest.
Okay, let's talk about Rudin for a second. You're his roommate, and you kind of crushed his dream today. I know you have a good connection since Tuesday, I guess. So what do you think about him?
Yeah, I'm kind of sorry for it. But on the other side, everybody, this is like, we're all playing as single players. But besides that, he's my personal hero of this whole tournament. He's like, I've never met him personally, and I think he's the coolest kind of guy I've met in my Warcraft past. It's crazy. This guy shows up, gives a fuck about anything. This is like the, I don't know, like the higher level of me. It's crazy. He's even taller than me, so it's the next level of me. I love this guy. It's amazing. I hope he can also do it, but I also cheer for the other guys, especially Hail of Anger. I cannot really share like any kind of insights, which I would like to get like more. Like, do I want Hail of Anger in China or Rudan? Really hard to say.
So you're at least rank 3 now. That means you get at least $1,500. What do you do with the money? Maybe an iron door?
Maybe several iron doors, I'm not sure, but I think this money just goes to the bank account or...
That's a pretty boring answer.
That's a pretty boring answer, but at least some amount of the money will go to you guys. Like in terms of we get some drinks, we get some nice food, and then...
That's a way better answer.
Then we will have a good time. I'm not sure when we guys meet next time, though maybe it will be like in China, but hopefully it will be before that, so we will have a great time and we will take pictures and do all this stuff, and it will be amazing, I guess.
Okay, you mentioned Hate Love Anger. He has a wife and kid now. You're together with your girlfriend for a long time, I guess. What do you think about, I don't know, maybe keeping up with him in that way?
Pretty damn hard to keep up with this guy. But he got the whole package, and I still lack of a little bit, like of a few checkpoints, I have to say. But I can definitely, yeah, I think it's a solid option. We have been together like for 5 years, me and my girlfriend. She's a wonderful person, like actually the best thing that happened to me. And yeah, it could happen anytime soon, but the baby thing is still on postponing, even though my mom harasses me all the time, because I'm the oldest brother, and I'm supposed to have kids like, yeah, coming soon, I guess, but it's not going to happen within the next 5 years. But the whole other part, this could definitely happen within the next 3-4 years, yeah.
Funny thing that you are together for 5 years, because the downfall of Warcraft really started in 2010, I guess. So I think because you're 25 now, right? So in 5 years, a lot of things change in the life of a human. How would you compare yAwS in 2010 to yAwS now, the player first?
Yeah, one of the douchiest guys, of course, back then, like really arrogant, like some diva stuff of course there. Like I was like, it was crazy. I had some experience, like I got a lot of money for playing the game that I loved. More money than all the other guys made at the McDonald's, like working part-time there while they did studies and shit. So this was a crazy experience for me. I was throwing the money away like left, right and center. I bought several shit that I would not buy anymore. So it definitely changed me. Also the part where I started studying, and when the money is just gone and you realize, okay, this was the coolest part. You did what you love and you got money for that. How cool is that? And everybody was already telling me this when I was still the player, but as soon as you stop playing, you just realize how amazing your position was, how amazing this hobby was that you kept going, and it was pretty cool. But I think as a person I changed. I'm a little bit more laid back now. I'm a little bit more like, I don't know, not as douchey as back then, but still sometimes I give just a shit about most of the time like anything, because I think like most of this stuff is just too random to like really worry about that.
You have an example for what you wouldn't buy again now?
Yeah, I bought so much shit. I bought like several colognes. I had like, at a time I had like 7 colognes, I guess. And I think they were all pretty good, but I think you need just 1 or 2, and it's definitely enough. And I had like, what did I else buy? Like a really nice watch. It was also like overpricey, and I just fell for it. It was so stupid. And a lot of clothes. Actually, I spent a lot of money on clothes. I just like fashion, but I think it's like totally not worth it to spend so much money on fashion and on brands and shit. So a lot of money went into that. Besides that, I did some savings, but I also spent a lot of money.
So as a fashion guy, you have an advice where to buy clothes?
Definitely. There's this Back to Warcraft shop, you guys. If you're not aware of that, buy this stuff. There's like Muddy on the shirt, which is amazing. We have this Back to Warcraft logo. It's amazing. And actually, these guys don't get a shit for it. Like it's like 10 cents maybe for each shirt. So for that reason, just buy it.
An old advertiser he is. So a lot of old EPS players came by. We saw Hazarops here. We will see X-Lord coming here. A lot of them stopped playing or switched to other games, and you didn't. Why is that?
Yeah, I think most of them had to keep their esports career going, because if you want to stay in this kind of fun zone that you have, where your hobby becomes your job and something like that, you definitely have to come up with different games, I think, because the life cycle of Warcraft ended, and it was natural to move on to the next game in order to keep your gaming career alive. And for that reason, I think the guys that kept playing and kept being part of the esports scene had to adjust. They had to go for other games. And for me, as I said it, I stopped playing entirely. Then a few Warcraft tournaments showed up. You guys showed up with the amazing project. And yeah, I just thought like, this is the coolest game I can think of. I never felt for StarCraft. I never felt for like anything else besides Dota maybe. Dota is so much fun. But there's nothing like Warcraft. This is like a game you fall in love with, and you keep just playing it. Like, there's no other game that I ever had the same experience with, like falling in love with a game like that much that I keep playing it. And Warcraft is still pretty damn cool.
Yeah, we got a lot of Twitter messages here from players like Todd, Moonglade. We talked to Grubby, we talked to yAwS. So there's still a lot of love from the old players for this game. What do you think that Blizzard should have made different to keep the game alive even more?
Very hard to say. I think the life cycle ended. They kept the expansion alive for a long time, I guess. They did patches until 1.2.1 or something like that. So they did some patching. They did some like fixing of stuff that was not supposed to be the way it was. But still, we see not like what we would need is like maps. Definitely, we would have needed more maps. Maybe a more solid structure for the whole clan thing. Maybe the new Battle.net for Warcraft to keep it alive, with a few new tools, tournaments, whatsoever. Maybe also like the W3 Arena client that we have. This could have been like Battle.net 2.0 without all the looks, but still something that we will look forward to. But I think it's like, it was about time to get rid of the project, and they started a new one. StarCraft was super successful, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same that as Warcraft, so I'm not sure what they had to do, but I think there's a lot of stuff they could have done in a different way.
So for a possible Warcraft 4, what would you do as Blizzard? Like compared to the other publishers like Valve, for example, or Riot?
I have no idea. There are no other RTS like competitors in the scene, I guess. There's no other RTS game hitting the market. We saw Command & Conquer Alpha version crushing and failing, and it fall apart. So for that reason, I think if Blizzard comes up with the idea to create Warcraft 4, just take what you have, take the experience that you have, and look around and see what the other players are doing. We have great tools like ahead of us. We see that Dota creates a shitload of money actually from the crowdfunding thing. We thought like a lot of people like actually talked about it, and I think it's pretty damn interesting to see that they implement it into different games like Mortal Kombat and so on and so on. So I got some insights here talking to people. And I think Blizzard could definitely do that in the future to keep Warcraft alive, to like deliver something for the fans. But I'm not aware or not sure how big the scene actually is for the RTS, if it's still worth it, because the production cost should be like, I don't know how much money involved, but I think there's a lot of money for the RTS market. Not sure if you can all get it back, so.
So we asked the Hell of Anger the same question that I'm gonna ask you right now. What's the most underrated unit and hero, in your opinion?
Most underrated hero is definitely the Priest of the Moon. I think the fire arrow is the strongest, one of the strongest ability in the whole game. It's like 1 coil per hit. It's super crazy. And the underrated unit, I think, is the Necromancer, because I would love to see more Necromancers. They're so amazing. They have crazy stuff. Unholy Frenzy is crazy. Cripple is crazy. And also the Necromancer skeletons. I just like this shit. I love this so much.
Okay, what do you think is overrated?
Overrated. Definitely the Mountain King for some people. Greets, Mr. Chachis. As a unit, maybe bears are a little bit overrated because sometimes they fall off, like against certain unit composition. Like you've seen Frost Realms destroying bears, like boom, and there's nothing more. But I think like as a unit, maybe bears are a little bit overrated sometimes. They're still pretty damn strong, don't get me wrong, and sometimes people call them imba, but I think it's 50-50.
Okay, let's close this thing. What was your favorite TV series in your childhood?
Wow, I had so many like throughout all the years. But I think the first one that really stick with me was like the Gummy Bears. Yeah, the Gummy Bears, that was pretty damn sick. Like drinking this stuff, jumping around. I cannot imagine having more fun at the age of 6 or 5 or something like that. And then after that, Dark Queen Dark was pretty damn cool for me. So yeah, this was the 2 and the pretty early years that I liked the most.
A question from the community, what was your favorite Pokemon back then?
Pokemon. Oh, I really have to think about that. Usually it comes up on your mind. I think Charmander was the one that I chose in the start, and I think I still like this guy. Like the third version of it is definitely the coolest. So yeah, it's crazy. I like that.
So your chance now. Any call-outs or shout-outs from your side? Especially the call-outs. Very interesting.
Call-outs and shout-outs. To you guys, definitely, to all the players, to Mr. Rudan, who's applauding me right now and giving me a hard time tomorrow, I guess, maybe if he makes it out. Besides that, shout-outs to my girlfriend, to my family, and you guys made it possible. Thanks again for that, and it's amazing.
And the call-outs?
Call-outs. Mr. Chief. Tomorrow is my day, easiest game of my life.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mark. Succeed tomorrow.